Okay. Hello, it's me. Do 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 do. Yeah. Gonna do a Chris Ryder and say, I'm gonna wait till a few more people come in. How you doing, Secret? Uh, hey, Boot. Um, so there it is. Hey, Nikki. So I just watched part of. I think most of you are aware of the live that Finkel was just doing. I got in there towards the end. Hey, Mr. Nikki. Uh, and I just want to hit a few of the points that are mostly about me, if I can remember everything. Let me just say, first of all, Finkel keeps saying, I'm not mad at Muckster, Muckster's mad at me. I wouldn't really say I'm mad at Finkel. I was at one point. I'm more disappointed and disgusted by Finkel. And, okay, now this kind of stuff, I should have like written notes, but I wasn't even going to do this until after it was all over. And I thought, I got to respond to some of this shit. By the way, you guys over there, you notice he couple of times kept saying about, oh, it's getting late, but he wasn't really in a big hurry to shut it down until people started saying, well, what about Todd and Phyllis? And all of a sudden, hey, I got to go. The hockey game's on. Anyway, so let me say a couple of things. Somebody had hit Finkel on the part about, oh, you got mad at Muckster. Why punish Ariel and Killen? He said, I never got mad at Ariel or Killen. I've never done anything about them. Finkel, when you accused me of shutting down your live stream that day and you took me off of StreamYard, fine. You also took Ariel and Killen off for no good fucking reason. You really want to talk about who the adult in the room is? Uh, some of the other stuff. And of course, this is going to be mostly about Todd because that's what's mostly about is him and Todd. Well, and JJ Finkel. You love JJ now? JJ is a wonderful guy. He's misunderstood. Please, look, he gave me a pen, so please vote for him. It's like you totally forgot that JJ was sitting next to Kaiser all that time, who you still claim to hate Kaiser. But JJ's okay, even though he was there supporting him. Hey, let's hit some of this stuff about the reason. You know, Finkel says, oh, he keeps bringing up the thing I said a long time ago about being friends with different people. I always use the term, you can't be friends with Susie if you're not friends with me. You know, that's that high school girl thing. and, and, oh, I'll get back to that. And, by the way, Nikki or anybody with keys, if you want to, you can join me. Uh, but what was I saying about the high school girl thing? Yeah, I don't believe in that. Like just because you go and hang out with somebody that that person doesn't like, that you have to not be their friend. But there's a big difference between that I'd get jealous if he's over at the Rotten Tomatoes site, which by the way he said, oh, Muckster always hated her. No, I didn't. I just said I didn't like what she did. I've actually been on her panel. But anyway, and for somebody who always claimed to have all of these um, integrity and stuff about things, to hang out with somebody who is totally the opposite of what you said you believed in. Now, let me hit some of this because, Finkel, you keep making excuses for this asshole, which is funny because remember, the one thing I got pissed off about was when you sat there and let Todd call me a pedo, and then you even went and you said, oh, this has to do with some joke Todd made months ago. No, it had to do with something that happened right then. That fucking pervert Todd watched a video I did about my 8-year-old niece, and it was cartoon yet, and Todd thought it looked creepy. Muckster, quit making creepy videos. And then he called me a pedo, and Finkel's like, well, Muckster's an adult. He can take care of himself. So then why the hell, to use the word the kids are using today, do you keep sweeping for Todd? Is he not an adult that can take care of himself? Nope. Everything. You keep twisting stuff around when people say, oh, that's not what Todd meant. You remind me of like Donald Trump's people that are always saying, well, what Mr. Trump meant to say was, that's what you keep doing with Todd. Oh, no, Todd's not a racist just because he calls little black kids nigglets or he talks about basketball Americans. Oh, no, he's not a racist for that. And you sit there and you laugh when he makes a joke about being on color people time. What the hell happened to the Finkel we thought we knew? Remember when, and Nikki will know this well, back somebody in chat had made a joke about Izzy's lips, and people laughed, and Finkel got all mad because he said that was body shaming. But apparently, it's okay for Todd because he hates secret courtship, or he hates Angel Gamer because they dare to talk back to a alpha male, and he calls them fat whores. And he shows this video of that fat lady falling off a runway, and he says, "Oh, that's secret. That's secret." Yeah. What happened to the whole being against body shaming for that, Finkel? Um. Oh God, I'm forgetting some of the other stuff, but it's like he keeps. Oh, yeah. Like I said, he uh he slammed coded for what he said about I think it was
Shiz.
yeah, and I slammed code. I mean, Finkel take the high road now, but you sat there and didn't say a fucking word on that panel that night that I ran coded into the ground over that comment. But you bring that up. But it's okay with you that Todd once mocked Phyllis about the death of her husband, a veteran, by the way, which doesn't matter so much to me, except that Todd keeps bringing up veterans. Um, what was the thing? Is that what? Oh yeah, this thing about JJ. Oh, I hit the wrong one. I guess it moved. But anyway, you had said about JJ was going to sue him or whatever. And now Finkel goes, oh, they were just playing along with the joke. Bullshit. Bullshit. You hit a nerve that time, Finkel. And that's like the one thing that across the board that people in, you know, our circle of YouTube or whatever, they still talk about is remember how Finkel got them so good with that whole JJ thing? And now you've backed off of even that, saying, "Oh yeah, they knew I was joking and they were just joking along." What else do I want to say, Nikki? Tell me.
Not to speak for you or anything, but what Muckster means is anyway,
Yeah.
as far as that J and J thing goes, there was nobody playing along with it. If I remember right, because I was around back then, Finkel was scared to death that those charges were actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. And you're right. It did end when his program did end when people were bringing up something that possibly did put his friend in a bad light as far as the widow and or withholding prayers for her husband because she dared to speak up to him.
Yep. Oh yeah, he was fine sweeping with that other stuff. And yeah, he makes up a lot of this ridiculous shit too about like, oh, Todd's not anti-Semitic. Really? Even though Todd will make these little things like this when he does that stupid like Yenta voice. Oh well, and he'll do those
Oy
curl
vey.
things.
Or oy
Yeah,
vey.
and and like I've said before, one of the things that makes me hate Todd even more than just the fact that he's a racist is that he's disingenuous about it. He'll say bagels, just so he can say, I didn't say anything about Jews.
Right.
Or, you know, like I said,
He
basketball
can't even
American.
own that he's racist.
Right. Just say the word. Like I called Finkel out on earlier with saying secret is see you next Tuesday. I hate that word, but if you're going to call someone a cunt, call him a fucking cunt. Don't be a little baby about it. You know, if you're going to call black people that word, just say the word
Mm-hmm.
instead of pretending. Yeah. So Finkel, that's why I don't want to have anything to do with you right now. It's not that I'm mad about that whole StreamYard thing or whatever. It's just that I don't know who the fuck you are. That you will sit there and play along with Todd for 2 hours. This whole thing about being jealous that he goes somewhere else, this is something, never mentioned this to you, Finkel, but this was like an open secret amongst us. We'd be having a panel and you'd say, oh, I got to get some sleep. I got to go get some sleep. I'll see you guys. And then a half hour later, we'd see you over at somebody else's panel. We never said about it because we didn't care. You didn't have to make excuses. You could have just said, "Hey, I'm going over to this other panel now." That's not what any of this was about being jealous of you going somewhere else. This is just like most of the people that were in your chat today, which by the way, today's the first time I've noticed that right up until the end when Todd came in and then it seemed like they were putting the word out that Finkel needed help, that it was mostly the people that we used to see in Finkel's chats, you know, even though
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them were calling Finkel out. But for the last, whatever it's been, month or two, whatever, if you notice, every time Finkel's gone live, it was all his inherited audience, although like Hulk Smash and those guys.
A
But
lot of times I don't watch him. Actually, the only reason why I happened to watch him is because I was bored. I'm not watching, I hate to say it, but I'm not watching football. Um, and it was like, okay, well, what can I see? And it just so happened he popped up that he was live, and I'm like, I'll go check it out. And you know, I don't know what is up with him, but for him to have done a complete 180 on 90% of the things that
he claimed was
I'm
important.
that he claimed was important, just completely. flabbergasts me.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with you. I think I'm disappointed also.
Yeah, we used to joke about him, all his little eccentricities, like not really listening when stuff was going on and stuff like that. But really, none of us, we didn't have bad feelings about him. And he just doesn't seem to understand that, yes, it's all about him and Todd. He went
Mhm.
off and saw Todd, and now Todd's this wonderful guy who never. By the way, here's one I wanted to mention for the toddlers out there who actually believe Todd only ever tells the truth. Going back to the StreamYard incident, whenever Todd came up and joined Finkel after the one got shut down, and Todd says, "Yeah, you have to be. I'm not making any accusations, but you have to be careful about who you give access." It's like we all know who the fuck you're talking about, Todd. But then Todd said this. He said, "Yeah, I uh, I made that mistake before, and they kicked me off my own channel." Todd, anybody who knows anything about StreamYard knows that's a big fucking lie because it's impossible to kick someone off their own channel. An admin cannot touch the channel owner. But you sat there, and then it's like people didn't understand why I started calling Todd the new Izzy. It's because then Todd was sitting there going, you know, I can bring in some of my music that I use, my gay background music, and I can do this to change your channel. Yeah. Why did I call him Izzy?
I would have no clue on that.
That's exactly it, Christian. That's the thing that gets us is we just don't know. Like I said, he used to march with Black Lives Matter. And he said when I brought that up, he goes, "Well, you know, we have this friend who is Puerto Rican. Actually, he was born here, but even if you're born in Puerto Rico, you're an American anyway." And they keep calling him a Mexican. Yeah, that's friends busting balls. Ariel's in on the joke. We'll also
Oh,
call him Guatemalan and stuff like that. But that's a lot different than just talking about all Jews or all blacks or whatever. That's not just busting balls between friends. Go ahead.
I was gonna say how Ariel is the one who always says he's hiding from ICE.
Yeah,
He is in on the joke. He helps perpetuate it. It's he tells us what the stereotypes are. I mean, hell, he hires only white guys to mow his
yeah.
lawn. It's not like you said, um, all Jews are bad per
Yeah.
Todd. All Jews are involved in the Jewish space laser program, or all Jews are rich, or you know,
I just,
whatever.
I
And
just,
the thing
uh,
is Finkel has accepted it.
I just saw a little thing right after that was over, and I saw Spider Dog was doing a thing, and I just clicked in, and he's talking about Todd, and I saw this little clip of Todd talking about credit credit history things. He's saying that like good credit is like a sucker thing for people being suckered into taking loans. And he actually said in it, he said it's just a way for the Jews to get you. He said it right out. He believes everything financial is Jewish. But hey,
Yeah.
Finkel, that's your buddy. Make excuses for that. Tell us how he's not anti-Semitic.
Yeah, and he can't even come right out and say it. He has to call everybody bagels.
Well, in this one, he actually said Jew, though. I was so
Oh,
glad I caught that. He said Jews. He said the Jews. It's like, yeah,
wow.
finally, say what you mean.
Yes, Nerdy, I agree. It was like he was cruising down the highway of life, opened up the passenger car door, and told his morals and his good character to get the fuck out, and then slammed the door and kept on driving.
And by the way, Nerdy and Cart, they've been with us since the very first days of
Yes.
like the old FMAC and stuff. And you see where they're at now with Finkel. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention about this. Yeah, thanks for that, and for everybody who has said similar stuff. I'm doing okay now. I'm home, having some
Yeah.
trouble getting my home nursing situation set up, but otherwise, I really appreciate all the good wishes people have been given.
Nerd or Cart's not in here right now, but Cart, I'm gonna say thank you for inviting someone to your cattle station to become a manly man. I actually enjoyed that, and you know, if he takes you up on that offer, I just might have to come out there and film him being a manly man.
I I missed that one.
Yeah, she told Generally Specific, because apparently Generally Specific now likes to threaten people with getting their real name and their real address, um, and everything. And she asked him, "Do you want my real name, my real address? Because if so, I'll just have you come out here to my cattle station, and you can prove to me how manly of a man you are."
I, c- I, c- I can see Todd going there going, well, I know how to do all this. I got point 0.3 acres. And then he'll step out and look and be like, point 0.3 acres is Cart's vegetable garden. You know,
Hmm.
and what is all that out there?
And GMK, that's another one that was in there, and he's another one that has been with us from the
Long
beginning.
time. Yep. Yeah, I really do. You know, I don't like to go on and on about that stuff because then you start something, but I really do appreciate people. I mean, a lot of you guys stuck with me through some ugly shit, you know, and some of it was actually my own fault. Not all of it.
Maybe.
A
Only
lot of it was
because you're
Nikki's fault.
of course. But the rest of it was because you're a damn tyrant,
Yep.
you know. But no, I did change my avatar, guys, just for a little bit. I jumped on that stupid chat GPT cartoon avatar thing. And I just want to point out Mr. Nicky is not tied to the stove. He's actually in the recliner behind me sleeping. But Drat Stab is still there.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good one. Oh, there's something else I was thinking as you started saying that too.
He's wearing his ankle bracelets. Oh, nerdy. You were talking about how you appreciate the support of
Oh
the
yeah,
longtime people who've been here.
yeah, and the people that have stuck with us. And, yep. And I mean, it goes to show, you know, oh, by the way, that was another Finkel thing where he said, I haven't been making videos about any of them people, or I didn't do any videos putting down Muckster and stuff, except for 2 weeks after the StreamYard thing. Every video he did, he found a way to squeeze me in there and talk about, Muckster chasing people away and stuff like that, you know. But no, it's because you didn't do a separate video about it. There was something else I thought of with going to mention. Oh, here, this is for Todd, who will either watch this or somebody will tell him. By the way, this is what I thought of when you were talking about your new avatar and that. Todd, it's not the witch bitch, it's the wibbitch. And you had no fucking input into that name whatsoever. Over on his channel, he goes, "Oh, which bitch?" He goes, "I think that's got to be a nickname I gave her way back." No, it wasn't, Todd. Quit trying to take credit for every fucking thing that comes across YouTube. Just like that time when we did those interviews, and Todd was like, "Oh yeah, she's using my style. Nikki's doing what I taught her." And I made a comment in chat about, "Yeah, Todd, you invented YouTube." And he's like, "Well, Muckster, what did you do for her?" And I said, "I created the channel."
Yeah, I just, if it weren't for the fact that it would be clipped and people wouldn't understand that I was saying something sarcastically, I would respond to that. But no, my name is Wibbit. I just haven't gotten it incorporated into the new avatar. You know, I, I do, I have embraced that.
Yeah,
And actually, it was you guys who were trying to be nice, because I was the one who said, "No, just put it as plain bitch." And you guys were like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. Gotta be nice, gotta soften it up a little bit."
well, it's kind of like the Mexican Ariel thing. It's an inside joke amongst us, and if they don't understand it, fuck them. Hi, Teresa.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah. This is truth. The world revolves around him. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm doing this wrong. I should highlight these things and then go. So Nikki, you want to read this?
Oh, sure, Muckster. Let me see. The world revolves around him. When are you gonna learn, Muckster?
And then the other thing we do wrong is like I should say something like, say what you want, Todd, but you're a racist, an anti-Semite, and a misogynist. And then I go, what do you think, Nikki? And you go,
I agree
yes, yeah, yeah,
wholeheartedly with you, Muckster.
yep.
Yes, yes. You're right. All the time. Perfectly. Whatever.
Yeah.
Secret, you can't be a friend to that person because you have your eyes open. If you were to be a friend with that person and then didn't know everything and then got your eyes opened, you would not be accused of being a vampire. You would be accused of being subversive. Uh,
But did you know? And again, I came in very late to that video. It was like you. I was looking at other stuff and I saw that pop up and I thought, oh, I'll see what Finkel's talking about. Um, but you notice the whole thing of like people going back and forth with Finkel. It was all about Todd and Finkel making excuses for Todd.
mhm.
It wa- I mean, yeah, it was a criticism of Finkel, but it was sort of like secondhand. It was like, Finkel, why are you putting up with this when you used to tell us this was not what you were about? You know, it was the whole thing was Finkel sitting there going, you know, all his hatred towards Secret. And it's all stuff because of Secret and Rabbit having problems with Todd. It wasn't really about her and Finkel so much.
I wish that some of these people would open their eyes and see what the common denominator is.
Yeah, yep, it's Mimsy. And by the way, I still stand by the fact that Mimsy is actually Vegas Vips. And by the way, I see SF brought up a thing about scars, and I know he's just trying to make trouble. But let me say this also, Finkel, and you know I am not a big Tav supporter, but you've a couple times now brought up this thing about, oh, he can't spend 90 days in jail without people given to his commissary. You know, they feed you in there. All right, Finkel, let's see you go 90 days. First of all, just 90 days on just prison food, but also, how about 90 days without soap or toothpaste or all that other shit you have to buy from the commissary that they don't give you?
And also, if anybody could read, it does say, for those who have inquired, meaning
Yeah.
those who have asked, here is the information. It's not saying, oh, please give, I've got to make this goal. No. It says, for those of you who have asked, here's the information. This is what myself and his wife have come up with. And, commissary is not just for honey buns. Like you said, it's for toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, shampoo, underwear, paper, pencil, or pen, whatever they give you, socks, t-shirts. And then, of course, there is the food, but that's just snacks. That's not anything to really talk about. Reason why I turned comments off is because they were not necessary. How about that? And
By the
as
way,
far as writer goes, my eyes are open with as far as Chris goes. I have called him out on a lot of things. I just don't do it publicly. I do it in private.
let me throw this out there about fundraising too while we're at it. This goes way back. I say we, I think I'm the one who started the rule, but everybody goes along with it. We don't do fundraising here. We won't post people's cash apps and that, but we will post people's channels. And if you go there and they happen to have their cash app on, fine. But please, I think it's great, although some of them I mistrust their motives. I think it's great people are doing stuff for Mr. Carey. But if you want to donate to Mr. Carey, please go to his GoFundMe or his Cash App instead of these people who are saying we're going to donate through our super chats. Because if you give it to Mr. Kerry's Cash App, they only take like 3%. If you do it to someone's super chat, they're taking 30%. And that's, I just use Kerry as a example. This goes for anything you see like that. If people are raising money for anything, if there is a way to give to their Cash App or GoFundMe or whatever, do it that way. Don't give 30% of the money to YouTube.
Also, like you said, you post their links. Check out, if you go to their channel, check out like under their community posts, because sometimes there's other groups who may have been helping that person, and they have like a QR code or something. And that way it doesn't have to be all through YouTube.
Now, sorry, I'm trying to eat before everything gets cold, and I just got a piece of corn stuck in my throat.
No, don't lie, it's the pepper.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm not totally against YouTube taking their 30%, just as a general rule, because they are providing a service. You know, they're they're entitled to it, but I just really think in the case of like a charitable type thing, try to make sure most of the money's going where you want it to go. No, now of course, I know I mentioned this in chat the one day, and someone else's. I said about Todd doing the super chat thing instead of just saying, "Here's his GoFundMe, here's his GoFundMe," and someone said, "Yeah, yeah, but if you donate directly to the GoFundMe, Todd can't take credit for it." And I think there's truth in that.
There might be, because I seem to remember there was a couple of things that maybe Todd donated to and then bitched about the donations and ended up getting the donation that he sent back.
Mm.
So,
Well, I also remember, and again, I'm certainly not going to stick up for this person for other reasons, but truth is the truth. The first reason Todd had problems with Izzy is when Todd was promoting a fundraiser for his dead commander. Excuse me a second. And Izzy and somebody else said they would donate to it. And Todd got mad because he wanted the donations to go through him. And they said they just donated direct. Whether they actually donated, I don't know. But the thing that made him mad was they didn't send them through him.
I don't know. Nerdy, Nabisco needs to quit putting so much glue on the boxes and use that extra savings to add more cookies in the boxes, not pass the savings along to us. they're going to charge what they're going to charge, then take some of that extra glue and make more product in the box. And Carrie, thank you, but not at this time. Not in here.
You can drop Todd's channel. I will immediately delete it.
It doesn't say Todd's.
Oh, tabs. Okay. When I was a kid, you could get a box of Nabiscos for a nickel, and the cookies were the size of pancakes.
We're not talking about back when Moses parted the Red Sea.
That wasn't Nabisco, that was matzah.
Can't help it that you're the old man of the group.
I know, that's the only reason you guys threw out Finkel. It's just to mess with me.
Well, yeah. Now we can say, you're forgetful and you ramble and you're the old man who yells at people about getting off your lawn and
But I will not sit here and stuff my face on camera.
no, you're just a tyrant. That's for Monday. This is the new background. So what else did you want to talk about?
I don't know, I just felt the need to respond to some of that bullshit he was saying.
Okay.
How he twists stuff up. And if he watches this, maybe he'll understand. But he won't. It'll go over his head.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, speaking of which, people, don't forget tomorrow at 6, we'll do our usual Monday BS session where we won't talk about any of this kind of stuff.
Right. Do we have a topic or is it just whatever pops up?
I thought we'd talk about how secret courtship is a emotional vampire. Was that the term he used? Let me speaking of which, let me throw this out there about Todd also. Something. Todd, for a long time, was supposedly friends with Rabbit, right?
Yep.
And then they had the inevitable breakup that Todd always has.
Yep.
And so then all
More
of a
than
sudden,
one. More than one.
all of a sudden, Todd decided that Rabbit was a thief with that charitable donation stuff. And also, I'm not saying that he did, but I'm not sure saying that he didn't have anything to do with his wife's death. That just tells you more of what you need to know about Todd. How can you sit there and be friends with somebody for all that time, and then later on, because you're mad at him, you decide, oh, he's a criminal or whatever? It just, again, he is. Here's a word that you haven't heard. He's duplicitous. Anyway, so yeah, Finkel, it's not about you being friends with somebody else. It's about you being friends with a racist, misogynistic, what's the other one I want? Anti
Yeah.
Semitic asshole and making excuses for it. But yeah, I guess we can put this to rest.
Yeah, the Super Bowl is on NBC. At least that's the one with the peacock, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Um, and it is Seattle versus New England.
which just means, you got to root for Seattle. I've
But I thought you were in the New England area, so didn't that mean that you had to root for New England?
no, because, and I'm not even going to be watching the game, but I root against New England no matter who they're playing for.
Oh,
I hate New England. I, I just, just because of the way they act.
hi, Grim Reaper. Or is that Mrs. Grim Reaper?
No, that's the real Grim.
Okay.
Not nearly as pretty as the Missus. And I hope she's doing well, also Grim. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in to listen to me rant.
With
I
a
think you.
little help from me.
I was going to say I think you stuck around because Nikki joined.
No, 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 no. They don't like me. My voice is all they hear is wah 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 wah. So wasn't because of me, it was because of you.
And hopefully we'll see a bunch of people tomorrow.
And that's the way it is.
Well, that was disappointing.